Ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, guys, I take a look at a cult classic from 1979. That movie is The Warriors. Now, I don't know a whole lot about this movie. I know like the barest minimum about the plot, and I know of, as in I've watched the two most iconic scenes in this movie, because almost everybody has. Even if they don't know that those two scenes are from The Warriors, you've probably seen them, or you've seen references to them in any one of dozens of movies or TV shows. Now I finally get to see the context behind those scenes, and I get to see if this thing lives up to its cult popularity. I've been really curious, guys, about this movie for years, and I'm actually kind of happy when I found the Blu-ray at Shopko. I think it was for about $6. So I also get to see if this thing's worth $6. And I really am hoping that it is going to be worth that. I am hoping for this movie to be really good. But the only way for me to find out is if I shut the fuck up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out The Warriors. Okay, now that is the second time I've seen that these gangs, these roaming street gangs, are all using tokens to get through the subway turnstiles. I could have sworn you're supposed to be like a renegade fucking gang. Aren't you supposed to just give the finger to society and just jump over the fucking things? I kind of thought that was what gangs did. Apparently, I'm way the fuck off on that. Alright, I will happily say this. I'm really digging the comic book transitions they have done so far. They look really fucking cool. I'm really kind of liking them. Alright, so apparently it is totally possible for 8 people to outrun a bus. For some reason I thought buses were a little bit faster. Perhaps honestly maybe this bus is a piece of shit. But the fact that these guys are able to outrun the goddamn thing still seems just a little bit off to me, I guess. Okay, well, I guess now we're down to 7 warriors, since one just got smeared against a subway train. Frankly, I never really thought I'd be talking about, you know, interesting kills in this movie, but that one was certainly kind of cool. You know, guys, perhaps maybe I'm just into details, but I really don't think that making out in the middle of a subway tunnel is probably the best idea. Especially since it kind of sounds as if those trains are coming by quite often. You'd kind of think you'd want to wait until you were someplace a bit safer than in the middle of the fucking tracks. At least go to the edge. Do something. I mean, perhaps maybe it's just something that's kind of bothering me a little. Perhaps maybe it's just me. Okay, I know I've never been in a New York City subway, but I didn't know that they had men's rooms that were spacious enough to have a gang fight in. That's actually kind of sort of cool. You know, so all of a sudden now I know that if I ever join a gang and if I ever want to get into a massive fight with another gang, we have to go to a New York subway men's restroom. That's awesome shit to know. Just wait a minute here. I have a question. They're back. They are back at Coney Island. Where the fuck are the rest of the Warriors? Because if they were going to talk shit about the orphans because they only had like a gang of 30, where the fuck's the rest of this gang? There's no way. It's been whittled down to just these 6 and no one the fuck else. I'm really curious. Where the hell is the rest of their goddamn gang? It's kind of bothering me a little now. Well, guys, that was The Warriors. Time for me to shut the movie off. Okay, so, first of all, as I asked just a couple of minutes ago, where the hell is the rest of their gang? I really have to ask this, because because only the biggest and the baddest gangs in New York were told to go to that big meetup at the very beginning. And if the Orphans were a worthless gang because they had such a low gang count of only 30 members, why the fuck were the Warriors there? There were only 9 of them, because there's no one else at fucking Coney Island except for the 6 who show up at the very end who, you know, actually made it back to Coney Island. Where the hell was the rest of the gang? I totally understand it's a stupid and trivial thing to bitch about, and I don't know how many other people have even been bothered by that, but damn it, it bugs me, okay? So yeah, now that I got my little temper tantrum over and done with, let's talk about the movie itself. Let's talk about the writing. The writing here is really, really good, guys. I really do like how, at the very start, the movie comes right out and tells you that it is basically a modern retelling of a tale about, I'm trying to remember if it was Greek, I believe it was Greek mercenaries, or Greek soldiers trying to make it through enemy territory and get back home. And then we dive right into the story, and that's exactly what happens. It really is a nice way of sort of telling you exactly where the story got its inspiration. I really kind of liked that, and the story itself here is written fantastically. Now, I will say that characters here are not exactly the deepest in the world. However, this right here is not one of those this is not one of those films where you need ultra deep characters for it to work. So yeah, honestly, guys, it kind of works there. However, though, our characters here do happen to have enough depth for you to actually give a shit about them when things start to happen to them. I'm of course talking about our gang, our lead gang themselves. So when one of them gets picked up by the cops, when another one, and so on and so forth, you begin to kind of care. Yes, and spoilers, one of them is picked up by the cops. Anyway. However, though, the other gangs in the film, they really aren't developed that much. Partially because they are just there to basically be hurdles for the Warriors to get past, and nothing else. And there it totally works. Dialogue here can sometimes be a little bit weak and a little bit sketchy. I'm not going to, you know, I mean now granted the dialogue here isn't horrible, but it could probably have been tightened up a little bit, and it would probably have made the film even better. Which mind you, though, the movie is still great, but just tweaking the dialogue just slightly would have made it even better. And that right there is about the only thing I can say in terms of dialogue. All in all, guys, the story here is fantastic, and the acting matches it. Once more, though, whenever the dialogue kind of sort of gets a little bit questionable and sketchy, the acting also kind of sort of falters there. It really does almost feel as if the actors also sort of knew that the dialogue in this scene or in that scene just wasn't quite the best, and they weren't totally sure exactly how to play it up. But still, everything though works out. I mean, you know, because we still have acting here, which is for the most part incredibly strong. So I really can't fault the acting here. Soundtrack. The soundtrack here is fantastic. The score here is great, guys. Musically, this movie shines. Musically, this is fucking awesome. I loved it. So, in fact, I'm really tempted to go out and download the, fucking soundtrack now, because it was that good. Camera work here is very, very well. Lighting here is done really good, especially since almost everything is shot in subway stations, and apparently they were shot in actual subway stations, amongst other places. So they really weren't working in sets, so you kind of had to light what was there, including streets and what have you, and it all works out. It all was lit very, very well. Now, seeing as and how I watched the Blu-ray, I guess I should talk about how clear and how crisp the quality is on the Blu-ray. And I will say that here, guys, the picture quality is fantastic. I was actually kind of sort of dreading this a little bit after I covered the Blu-ray for Last House on the Left and saw that saw that there was literally no fucking cleanup done on the picture. This thing here is just fantastically remastered and it looks sensational. This thing here is a fantastic ambassador to show you exactly how good an older film can look when put on Blu-ray and shown in HD. This thing just looks absolutely amazing. Now, this is also the ultimate director's cut, and there was at the start like a little summary of everything new that was added in and all that. However, I skipped past it because since I had never seen this, I kind of wouldn't have given a shit what the hell was added because it's all new to me. Again, minus the one or two scenes I'd seen before. So when all is said and done, guys, can I recommend The Warriors? Hell yes. And once more I want to state, I picked this thing up in a fucking clearance bin for $6. And is it worth $6? Fuck yes, it's totally worth $6. In fact, I'd even go as high as to say, if you can find this thing at like Best Buy or Walmart or something and it's like $10, pick it up. It's totally worth every cent of that. This movie is by far one of the better action films I've seen. Well, it's not really an action film so much as more like, well, and I'm saying it's not really that much of an action film because there's really not a whole lot of action. It really is almost a little bit more of a drama than it is action. Well, drama with action like peppered in, fight scenes, and a gang who apparently are able to outrun a bus. Again, that still kind of bothers me. And apparently a gang of 9 people who are, big and bad enough to go to a big gang meetup. I know, again, trivial, but I don't care. It still kind of bugs me. Because the film ends, and you still don't see the rest of their fucking gang. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop talking about that, swear to God. The movie, though, is still absolutely amazing, and if you guys can find this thing, check it out. I would say go and check it out on Netflix. However, I actually wanted to cover this months ago, and in fact, it was going to be part of a Netflix-themed month, which I had to scrap because half the movies I had picked out for the month were taken off of Netflix. This one was one of those movies. So then I had to buy it, and frankly, I'm happy I fucking bought it. The movie is that good. So yeah, guys, by all means, go out there, check it out, rent it, buy it, and if Netflix ever puts it back on their streaming service, go right ahead and check it out there. The movie is totally worth fucking watching, and in fact, I'm probably gonna have to watch it again real soon. It was that fucking good. So yes, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.